And that's where my story starts. It actually starts many years before Corner because I was a kid up at Camp Lebanon and Scott came to camp and talked. And I was like, I know that guy. That's pretty cool. So then when I came down for college, I was like, oh, there's this church plant starting in the North Loop, but Scott's leading it. I should go and do that. And Scott was still in his Youth Guy Scott stage, so he was building things like the Tower of Babel out of cardboard in the front of the coffee shop. Or when he told the story of Samson, he went around to a couple different salons and just got all their hair that was on the floor and made a wall of it. It's that kind of stuff. But so I got connected there and I went, this is because Scott was at camp. That's pretty cool. And then I left. I went to Kansas. I did more ministry stuff. I finally finished my bachelor's degree. Woo! And then I started talking to a girl, and she was up here. And it turns out she had become one of the first managers of the new second location of Corner Coffee. I was like, that's pretty cool. And so I would drive up and I would sit at the counter and I would drink coffee, and I'd be that weird guy that sits at the counter all day and drinks coffee and then takes the barista out at night. It was great. But I would come and be a part of that and get reconnected. And then she's now my wife, but we got engaged and I went back up to camp because I was going to be the program director there. And Anna's parents work up there, so Anna went up and stayed with her parents, and that was right when Greg and Kelsey started. And I went, man, it's good to meet you guys. We're leaving now, but I feel like we're going to be a part of Corner someday. And Greg said, well, just let us know when. 7 years later, 8 years later, it was time. We were at camp, and Scott came and spoke again. And both of us had the thought we should talk to Scott about Corner. And we did. We came down, talked about Northeast, and we got connected to Jody and that wild story about having a coffee shop and everything happened again. And now we're here. And this is something like we can talk all day about Corner Church and all the cool stuff that's happened in the web that's been put together. And this is literally just a microcosm of Body of Christ. It's so cool to see because when I was at camp, the connections that I made there got connected into Corner. The plumber that came to Northeast and did everything was a connection from camp. And that camp connection was, oh, and there's Scott. And that was the Corner connection. And you can just watch all of this. And I think Jody said it the whole time we were building out Northeast. She said, it's almost as if there's a bigger plan. And there is. So it's so cool to look out and see these faces in this room, to see all of you and go, man, God has really impacted people through what's happening in Corner, what's happening in Minneapolis, and then going out and impacting the people around us. So, yeah, my story is that you never know what's going to happen. God's got a plan, and here we are.